Welcome back, friends. This is Solomon Jagwe. I'm back with another quick tutorial. Today, we're going to be talking about the Electric Dreams project, this sample project that's available to everyone as long as you have the Unreal Engine 5.2. It's an incredibly detailed, realistic environment that has amazing foliage all the way to the ground with the rocks and all that, right? So the way you find this project is simply go to the Epic Games launcher and go to the samples tab over here, and you find it under Electric Dreams environment. Go ahead and install it, and you see it's beautiful. So you can able to create a project. It's only available for Unreal Engine 5.2, guys, unfortunately. So 5.1 users, forget about it. If you really want to have fun with this, it's called a PCG environment, so procedural content generation. That is the acronym. But this is all procedure generated, and I'm going to show you why it's incredible. So it reminds me of Avatar. So I have this cool idea that I want to actually develop around this. So when I saw this environment and I watched Avatar, the most recent one, I was like, I need to be able to create something really cool in here. And in Avatar, one of the things that really stand out is the water, right? And because this environment is real time, I wanted to be able to actually use real time fluids. And the best tool out there, at least in my opinion, is the Fluid Flux plugin. So let me go ahead and simulate something real quick here, and then I'll talk about the environment just itself, the procedural content generation part of it. So let's go ahead and press simulate, and you're going to see what's going to happen. Now, remember, guys, this is all in real time. This was incredible. So the simulation has started. And you can see the boat is actually moving along, and I can actually move the mouse, and you can see the water coming down, and the boat is flowing along, bouncing along. And when the wave comes back, you can see it affecting it all the way down through the Electric Dreams environment. So this is what is really cool, guys. Look at that. This is in real time. In the past, guys, you guys were in the VFX industry, you know how difficult it is to create like convincing water, realistic water. But check this out. This is actually happening right now in real time in the Unreal Engine 5.2, and I'm using Fluid Flux. So if you have an idea, and like I have this cool idea of creating like a Pandora-like environment, this works really well. And I'm going to walk you through how I was able to add this water. But what's really cool about Electric Dreams environment itself is you see how the water has been like going around this part right here. So if I go back to the outliner over here, I'm going to select the large, so PCG large scale assembly right here. So this is what blew my mind. Remember when they were talking about it at the Epic Games event? So I saw them moving this particular rock, right? And everything around it was updating. I wanted to test it to see if it was actually working. So watch this. Make sure you're in the outliner. You have it selected over here. It's the BP PCG large assembly. And then move it. And then release. Look at that. So it automatically recognizes that the distance is not enough, and so it removed that log. So if I move this over here a little bit more, you see where the rocks are, you see how they're updating. And guess what? Now, if I want the water to flow in a larger area, I just simply have to go and simulate. And guess what's going to happen, right? It's going to take up that particular space right there. So watch this. So here comes the water. It's filling in. And there goes the boat. Now the boat has more space to float around, right? And that's what's incredible, is that the Fluid Flux is working really well with this like procedure generated environment. And you can see how it was very easy to update. I didn't have to sculpt anything. I just had to move this, and everything around it was updated. And so this water is actually filling up, because this is kind of like a gorge of some kind. So at some point when the area, and this is actually, I scaled it all the way so you can actually see the water, how it has filled out. So imagine what the possibilities are when it comes to using fluid flux with the procedurally generated environment, right? It's amazing. There's so much that you'll be able to do, like even like a jungle scene, like if you have a military scene, like with soldiers or like SEAL Team 6 or something like that, right? So you can put like hats for natives in here, locals, add birds flying around. You can customize this to your hat's content, and you use fluid flux to be able to add water that looks amazing. The fact that I'm able right here to check it out before I make a decision. So now as an art director, I can be over the shoulder of my artist. And even you as yourself, being your own art director, like, okay, you don't like the way the water is going. Now, let me try this. Try this in real time. I wanted to see if I move this, the rock formation here. Wow, this is simulating. Will it crash my machine? I don't know. So I'm using 6000. It's a RTX 6000 ADA version. I was blessed by the Puget Systems team. Now this has 48 gigabytes of graphics RAM. So let me see if it can actually handle this. Let me move this and let's see what happens to the water. It updated. And the water is continuing to simulate around that update. That is incredible. So as a filmmaker, as an art director, this makes it so much easier to see what shots I want. So now I can actually see, like, I can put a camera right here and I'm able to get like that backdrop of that rock formation over there. And you know what's amazing? What's even more amazing is that, watch this. But for this, I think, let me go to it's the BP PCG forest node. So that's the ditch forest node right here. Watch what's gonna happen. I'm going to go over here to the global cliff for seed, and let's zoom out so you can actually see what's happening. Look at the water. It's now actually filling up the entire area. And this is in real time. So let me go ahead and turn this like maybe to a 5 and press enter. Now we have new rocks that have been created, and now you get more like options for creating more incredible shots. So now this shadow that's falling into the water, like being cast in the water, you get some incredible shots like right there, right? Because of that new cliff that has just been added. And this is all happening in real time. That is what's incredible, right? So anyway, guys, this was what I wanted to share with you, is that the Fluid Flux plugin works amazingly well with the Electric Dreams project and with the procedurally generated content. It's amazing. I highly encourage you to try it out. So how do you actually go about doing this? Let me stop the simulation. Let me start from scratch so you can actually see how all this is done. So just go to your levels in the project, in this Electric Dreams project. Go to levels, go to PCG over here, and start with this Electric Dreams PCG like file right here. So let me see if I can actually can I duplicate this? Let me duplicate this and see if, no, I can't duplicate it. That's bad. All right, let's go ahead and first remove Fluid Flux so I can walk you through like how to go about doing this. Let's remove Fluid Flux over there. Yes. And let's remove the modifier as well. Let's remove the bot. And anything else? No. So now we're back to where we started out. So the project itself has some like water here, but this water is not moving. And that's where Fluid Flux comes in. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, I need to do something really amazing with it. All right. So the way you start is, once you have Fluid Flux, as I'm assuming that you've purchased it by now, go to Fluid Flux over here. And the step that you need to start with is go to simulation, the simulation folder over here. Double click on that. And you need to go to the blueprints folder. And start with the BP flux simulation. So find a place in here and preferably zoom out so you can see more of this, and drag and drop this in here and release. So by default, it's going to come in as a square covering that area. And if I zoom in a little bit more and raise this up, did you see what happened? So the texture of these different parts of the terrain changed, and that's when you know that now you have contact with the fluid flux. So if I'm lowering it, you can see it go and then goes away. So we raise it up a little bit more. So if you go under the water, you can see where it starts. So I'm gonna raise it up a little bit more, all the way up. And so when you see that water right there, that enables you to decide where you want the fluid to start, right? So as you can see right now, there's a border right here, and it's a square border that's gonna only be in that area. So now that we have this valley that has all these different gorges around it, we can actually go to make sure the BP flux simulation is selected in the outliner. Then go to the details panel over here. So let's type in actually you can do height, we can do resolution first. So let's do resolution. And so the resolution is 256 by 256. That's why it's just a square area here. But if you want, you can actually make it expand to fill this entire area. So we just find a place in the center, because you don't want to waste resources either. So let's make it 512 by 512. Okay, so but you can still see there are some areas where you may want some of this water to be. So we may want to increase this a little bit more. So maybe 1024 by 1024. All right, that will give us enough coverage all the way around. And if you see that there is wasted space over here, if you go over on this side and maybe there's a shot that you're not going to be using, then just focus on this area right here. So you can actually move it. Oh, sorry, let's go back. Fluid flux, BP simulation. So you can move it around and you can see how the border is changing. Okay, now that we have our starting point, it's time to add the component that adds the fluid to the environment. Okay, and this is very important for you to be able to see this pattern right here, because that's when you know like the fluid, and actually you can see it happening here. It adds like a wet material to the rocks that it comes in contact with, which is really amazing. Very few plugins, or if any, fluid plugins do that, and that's why I love fluid flux. All right, now let's go to simulation over here and go to modifiers. And we want to start with the BP fluid flux source actor. Just drag this and drop it. And we're here. So this is the one that's going to be producing the fluid. And when I raise it up, guess what? You start to see the fluid as it's coming up as well. Okay. So if you want a waterfall of some kind, then you can put it up here. But it works really well in an area that is flat, because at some point, should you not want the water to continually flow, then you would push it up somewhere in a cliff so that you can have like a waterfall. But for this tutorial, I want to show you how you're going to fill up this gorge right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and press simulate, which this is really easy. The 2 steps, and then press simulate. And then watch it. So now that it's kind of, it's not infinite. So it's just going to fill up the water right here. But that's not enough water for the kind of terrain that we have. So it's just going to stop and you won't see much of an effect. Okay. It's going to keep rolling down the hill as long as you have like a slope, right? So there's the water, but it's not profound by any stretch of the imagination. So let's try something different. Let's go this with our modifier selected. We're gonna go to the details panel over here to the right, and we're gonna click on the fluid, the flux modifier source, and then we're gonna look for the duration over here. So if we give it like 20 units and we press simulate, so it's gonna use those 20 units to continually produce more fluids in real time until that number is exhausted. So you can see the fluids starting to go down the valley, filling the rocks, and it looks amazing. Looks beautiful. Look at that. So in the distance over here, after the 20 units, you'll see it fade away. There we go. So that takes care of the amount that you want, and it will continue to flow down the mountain. But once it is done, then the motion will stop because there won't be any more water being produced. And you for this kind of environment, to add some dynamic effect to it, you need to add a little bit more life. So what we do, we go back to the fluid flux simulation over here. Sorry, the BP, the source actor, over the BP flux modifier source actor. Go back to the fluid, the flux modifier source, and instead of 20, we're gonna say -1. So let's make sure we stop the simulation. Okay, go back to the fluid BP flux modifier source, go to the details panel, select the flux modifier source, and for the, scroll down, and for the duration over here, we put -1. All right, now it's gonna be generating water to infinity. So you just go ahead and simulate. And boom, and then the water will keep flowing. So now we have enough fluid to continually fill the valley in the Electric Dreams environment. So that is really, really cool. And those are the steps that you really need to take to be able to continually add more and more water. And actually you'll see it continually to flow down the mountain. And as you can see, when we are setting up the modifier, the level at which we put it up is where it stops, and along the rocks right here. So that was the quick tutorial showing you how to utilize fluid flux inside of the procedurally generated content in this Electric Dreams project. And I hope you guys can have fun with it. It's amazing, and this is all in real time, and you can continue to play with it, use it as an art direction tool for your shots. Pick a shot, add some more rocks to it, add bars, you name it. And it even has audio. So when you are recording in your sequencer, it will be able to add all that as long as you add the sound component to it. But it looks really, really beautiful, and it works in real time. Anyways, so that's what I was sharing with you guys. So make sure you go back to your launcher over here in the samples section, download the Electric Dreams environment, and then consider purchasing fluid flux. For if you really find this like valuable, I think it's worth it. The price is worth it. So there it is. What an amazing time to be alive, guys. This is incredible that we can do real-time fluids using the Unreal Engine 5.2 in procedurally generated content, right? So I can go back to this PCG large assembly over here, move it ever so slightly over here. It's gonna update, and look, now we have water in the center updating in real time, and the water is flowing differently in a different direction. That is truly awesome, man. This gives me Avatar vibes. So when the next time if you see a video of mine that I've rendered of a short film that has like these rock formations and it has Avatar influences, you know where it started out and what tools I was able to use. All right, stay safe as always. Dare to dream big, guys. Never give up on your dream. Much love to each and every one of you. And I want to give a shout out to all my patrons out there. Thank you so much for your support. Please stay safe. And if you're new to my channel, do please consider subscribing. Bye for now. See you in the next video.